Yeah.
You've heard me say that a million times, that just because everyone buys promotional products does
Yep.
not mean everybody's your customer.
100%.
Dear sir, oh madam, will you read my book? It took me years to write. Will you take a look? And that's the song I'm singing as we open up episode number 168 of the Promo Upfront podcast. I am Bill Petrie, one of your hosts. With me, as always, the warlock of writing himself, the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the authorship are you?
Thanks, man. I'm doing great. It's been a really wonderful week. You know, as you alluded to, it's launch week for the book, and that's been going really well. And I think, you know, whether people mean it or not, they've been really nice this week about the book and sort of supporting. And so that's been feeling really good. So I'm doing well, buddy. How about you?
I'm doing great. And here's the thing about social media. If it's something you disagree with, there's no value in social media. But if it's something that makes you feel good, there's a lot of value in social media. So let's go with a lot of value this week. No, it's been a good week. Fun watching your book launch. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. But you know what? I was watching your book launch this week, and as things often do, Kirby, it got me to thinking about you and the other aspects of your business. And I thought, you know, I've been on an average daily basis, probably 13, 14, 20 times a day. You are looking for kick-ass merchandise, are you not, Kirby?
I am actually. Yeah, that's a great point.
I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the type of merchandise that elicits that wow, that aha from you really want to get from your clients, right?
Yeah.
You want those. Well,
yes,
Kirby,
of course.
I've got some good news. I've got some great news for you. I was going to say good news. I've actually got great news for you. Look no further than our good pals over at Seven Sourcing, because they are experts in the field. They work with distributors to help them source custom orders direct from fully vetted overseas factories. And that's without having to deal with the factory. It's a great service. Seven Sourcing has a very strong pedigree when it comes to navigating direct custom merch sourcing, as their team has over a quarter a century of successful importing experience. And I think we both know, as things change and the world's evolving, that's some really great experience to have. But Kirby, there's something even better.
No, all right.
They work directly with each distributor on brand strategy, product development, product sourcing, order management, quality control, compliance, and logistics. Mm-hmm. In other words, they really demystify direct custom sourcing. And while they source merchandise at the lowest possible cost, they don't sacrifice quality or safety to meet price points. That's a big one.
It is.
Seven Sourcing isn't interested in meeting expectations, Kirby. They're only committed to exceeding them. And that's where Russ and his team over there at Seven Sourcing do such a fantastic job. Now, Kirby, this is a tremendous opportunity for distributors to wow their clients with fully custom merchandise, isn't it?
It really is. And so I don't know if you remember this, but the last time we were talking about them as a sponsor, you kind of challenged me to reach out to Russ. And so I have done that. And so I will tell you a couple of things that you just said. Number one, one of the projects I wanted was it was at a price point that I wasn't sure that and he still gave me ideas, but he counseled me on, hey, if we're going to really get creative, we need to do this and this and this. And so to your point, he wouldn't sacrifice quality. And so, and I'm really hoping. Then I found another project that might work. And so we're working through that. And I hope to be doing some business more with Seven Sourcing soon.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Russ is really great with. He will brainstorm with you. He's going to pick your project apart, but in a good way, to make sure that it is going to be compliant from a safety perspective, that it is going to be the highest quality merchandise, that it's going to be something your client's going to be proud to have their brand on. So yeah, it takes a little bit longer. It takes about 75 days, but isn't that extra planning worth it to get that wow moment? We sure as heck think so. So when you're ready to move away from the off-the-shelf solutions and wow your clients with off-the-wall, reach out to Seven Sourcing at sales@sevensourcing.com. All right, Kirby, we've alluded to it earlier. It is launch week for your book, hitting the target. And so I thought, instead of putting you on the spot and say, hey, Kirby, tell us about your book, I that's kind of difficult. You've been living this book for quite a while. I thought it'd be interesting, at least for me and both of our listeners, that
Sweet.
if I just asked you some specific questions to kind of maybe get underneath the book, what it's about, what it
Sure.
means to you, and all those type of things. So if you're okay with that, really doesn't matter. It's
You're
my
gonna
part
do
of
it.
the
I love it.
podcast, and I'm
Yeah,
going to do what I want.
I love it.
So
And I
Kirby,
appreciate it, buddy. I
question,
do.
yeah, question number A.
Okay.
Why did you write the book?
I think that generally speaking, when I write the book, it's because it's like I feel like I have to. So we came up with this target marketing framework based on working with clients, and it's Target's an acronym. I think you and I have talked about it, and it came from, I'm not only working with clients, but I'm a small business development coach, and I felt like I was having the same conversation with whether they were starting a business, whether they were coming to me going,
Right.
"Hey, we've got a business, but the marketing's not working," and then obviously our prospect, our customers and prospects. And so I was having this conversation over and over again. And so I finally kind of put pen to paper and created this framework. But then I was like, I don't know if there's a book there. Like it did feel good. We created a whole playbook around it. It's been a good tool. But then when I came up with the idea for the parable, which is the story, the fictional story of Michael, it was fascinating. I think I came up with that on a Thursday or Friday. And I went to like Dustin and Amy and a few people and said, "What do you think about this? Do you think there's an idea here?" And both of them were like, "Yeah, I think maybe." And then it was like I couldn't not do it. Like a Saturday, like if this was a Saturday morning, I was up at 6 a.m. and started writing. I wrote for 8 hours on Saturday, 6 hours on Sunday. And it was just one of those where I had to, and then because it was going well, I needed to do it really fast before I lost it. You know what I mean? Like, and so,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's, I think once that happens, it was just like, I had to finish it, if that makes sense.
It does. And it's one of those things, and I do writing as well. I'm not to the level you do, certainly. When there's an idea I got to get it out now.
Yeah.
And so I'm the same way. I love that. You wrote the book as a parable, but also some pretty deep business, not just business lessons, but also a blueprint of how to achieve goals. What does this book mean to you, though? I want to know what it means to you personally. As I get on my Barbara Walters, I'm asking some tough questions here.
Yeah, that's right. You're killing it. I think that I've written a couple other books and those have gone well. And so each time you write a book, you're like, oh, this is the best one, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that this is the one where it's like, okay, the framework itself is one that, especially for small to mid-sized organizations, most of the ones I'm working with are not hitting the target. Sorry, but they're on one of these letters. They're not doing it, and so I feel like I think it really will help folks. But then the idea of it being written as a parable makes it a little bit more digestible. So that I think that this will probably be by the time it's all said and done, more people will see this book than have seen the others, and that's always cool too. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Well, no, it did. It's off to a great start. Sir Kirby, when you're done writing the book, you get the book done, you have the printed copy done, and then there's obviously, there's some editing that needs to be done. There's choices to be made for book cover and so on and so forth. But when you're done finally putting that last period at the end of the last sentence of the book, what is the one emotion you feel when you've completed the task?
Relief. Relief for sure. Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is because again, it's like, okay, even the rough draft before the cover, before the whatever, the rough draft, just going, okay, now I can really pick it apart. We can get editors. We can like start the second part of the journey of a book, but getting it out. So it's like, okay, now I can go from there. That's almost relief, because I've heard people say that like, they're not writing the book, that it's just coming through them. And this one more than any other felt that way for me. And I think that one of the things that I always have to remind myself is that there's probably more than two, but that the writing of the book is one part of your brain. The promoting of your book is a completely different part of your brain. And it's really hard to like you got to kind of take the writer off and then put the marketer and promoter on. And I'm living through that this week. And it is, I actually talk about it sometimes, like in the book. The R is for reach and kind of building your brand and putting yourself out there way more than you're comfortable with. And I am living that this week because it's just a different part of the kind of the journey of writing it itself.
Sure. No, it makes a lot of sense. Just a couple more, Kirby.
Yeah, sure.
What's the one single takeaway we all read books. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us read books, and some of them are 100 pages, some of them are 500 pages, some of them are in between.
Mm-hmm.
There's always one takeaway I think an author wants you to kind of hold on to months, years after the book's been read. What's that one thing you want people to take away?
As I look back at it, I think that I don't know if it's one or two, but just the idea that most of us really stink at diving down into the person that we really want to serve. Right. Like, and people call it niching, people call it whatever. But the first concept of target is identify your target.
Mm-hmm.
Is to really dig down into the person or persons you want to serve. Like, as soon as we're done with this podcast, I'm leaving and going to an HR conference because I have decided that one of the places we want to focus is HR. And it fundamentally changes how we go to market once you really, really understand who you're trying to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know how I speak. I know the messaging.
Right.
I know the conferences they're at. So it's like, I think it's a step that I, for years, really, really, really struggled with, because I'm like, I want everybody to be my customer. Even if I intellectually, I said that that's not true, I still wanted it to be true.
Yeah, it's not. You've heard me say that a million times, that just because everyone buys promotional products does not mean everybody's your customer.
100%. But the ego in me wanted to fight through it and say everybody was. So I think if there was one takeaway, it's like, man, if you can dive in, that is the most foundational piece of everything you do next. So that would be my.
Okay. Just two more. How can people get an autographed copy? You're kind of famous now. I'm surprised you're still slumming it on this low rent podcast, but you are. How can people get an autographed copy from you?
That's a great question. I think, the way that you can buy it's on Amazon. But I would say that obviously if if you're in close to our area and you want to stop by the office, you can get one here. I would say, be at Expo. That's like the next big industry event. If there's an industry thing and you want to bring your book, I'll probably bring some books with me. So that's probably the best place for the audience who listens to this.
And you can pick that book up on Amazon. It's amazon.com/kirby.hasseman.target/3468255-hyphen//HHRX-QMZ46728719627
Very impressive that you remembered that. Yeah.
Book. Actually, just go on Amazon and look for Kirby Hasseman. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Last question, Kirby. If you were a promotional product, what promotional product would you be and why?
For real? I'm still, calendars are what I built my business on, but I think that if I were saying that, I'd think a t-shirt. The t-shirt's still something that resonates with me. It's the thing that says, I think there's such a signal that when you wear something and it has a message, it whether it's the concert t-shirt or whatever, you are announcing yourself as a member of that tribe. And I like that. Yeah. So.
Love it, Kirby. Awesome stuff. I had the opportunity to read the book on a very early stage. You gave me a copy to kind of look through, review, get some feedback. It's a great book. It's really good stuff. So highly recommend if you're looking to improve yourself and kind of really align what your activities are to your goals. This is a great book to pick up. So thank you, Kirby. Kirby, our friends at Kanata would like to say thank you. In fact, all right, they want to help everyone say thank you as we approach the season of gratitude by sharing a special on their three thank you blankets. It's the lamb's wool, the velvet fur, and Velura. All of them have thank you embroidered on them, or decorated on them, I should say, in different languages on them. And pricing is below EQP. Can't get a better deal than that. So for all the details, head over to kanatapromo.com. Look under the specials section on the website and wrap your clients in gratitude all season long with Kanata. All right, Kirby, I believe it's your turn for a topic. I'd like to stop talking. What topic say you have, sir?
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you talking about the book. I've got several here, but let's go with this one. The headline is it time to sunset work happy hour? So there was once a time that the best part of working in an office was leaving the office for happy hour. And those days, much like being in an office Monday through Friday, seem like a relic of the working past. So there's a bunch of factors. Obviously, there's the idea of schmoozing over beverages, but people changing their diet, whether their behaviors, kind of changed after the pandemic. And obviously, people are going to the office less. So people are it seems studies are saying that people are less likely to go after work for happy hour with their sort of work friends. So do you think that this is a good thing or a bad thing it's time to sunset work happy hour? Do you think it's time for the work happy hour to go away? Maybe that's the question that'd be better.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been time for a while. I mean, I think at one point work was, there was a very defined line between I'm working and I have my suit on or my dress or my pantsuit, whatever you're wearing. I'm working. And then, that's all I do all day. We don't have fun conversation. We don't talk about anything else. We're working all day. And then, hey, let's go have happy hour. And I think that's where you get to know your cross-functional partners, let's call them a little bit, your cohorts, your peers. I think work is a little more casual environment now, especially because it's so easy to communicate whether someone's across the room, across the hall, or across the country. So I think you tend to get a lot more of those family, those open conversations. I think the most important thing though, Kirby, is I think society, we rightfully so look down on, let's go to a location that's not our home and drink and then drive home. That's the first thing I think of with work happy hour. Yes, there's Uber, but we still know people who, I've only had a couple, I'm just fine, and my house is 3 miles away, which is always a recipe for potential disaster. So
yeah, that's a great point.
I don't think, I don't miss work happy hours. I think you saw the evolution of this right at the onset of the pandemic, when we all started doing virtual happy hours.
Right.
And I think we're all more comfortable being in our own space where, there's something to be said about going to like a bar and experiencing that. I just don't think it's with your work people.
Okay. Yeah. So honestly, I thought about this as you were talking. So like listening to and hearing it, I think one of the other reasons that you're seeing that people are becoming less is because of the hybrid and the remote work is that if you all go to the bar next to the office and 30% or 50% of your workforce isn't there, it is kind of exclusionary. I think of, in our area, we think, if Dustin and Emily and several of us go to get a drink afterwards, Jade can't come because Jade is in Colorado. And so I wonder, that's actually what made me think of it. I'm like, it's something that we struggle with for work, right? Like, I don't want to exclude Jade from work meetings, even though there's a 2-hour time difference and all that stuff. So the idea of doing the culture building activity that you can't include half your workforce to is one of the things too. I think that is, and I hadn't thought about that until just now.
And I think, the biggest thing that we don't think about often enough is with so many people either hybrid or working from home, if I declare a happy hour at Thursday at X amount, whatever time it is, for a good portion of people, that means they got to leave their house. They have to, it's a bigger calorie burn. If I'm at an office, well, I could stop by and have one drink and then go home.
Right.
If I'm at home, I gotta probably get dressed. I gotta do my hair. I gotta wear something nice. I have to put on makeup or whatever it is. And I gotta drive somewhere. I think that's really what's killed it more than anything else.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. I was just kind of curious. I figured you'd have a take on it.
All right, Kirby, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to NFL Flavortown.
Okay. All right. I can't wait.
And I'm going to tell you what, because our good pal, your friend of mine, Guy Fieri from the Food Network, has declared himself football's director of flavor and fashion. I don't know if you knew this, Kirby.
I did not.
It's it's a merchandise collaboration with all 32 NFL teams. And there's a Flavortown branded apparel line. It is NFL sanctioned, but it has apparel, Tervis drinkware, socks, things like that.
Nice.
Well, I don't know about that, Kirby. Not going too well, buddy, because if you go look at the merch store, there are some deep discounts. They are stacking them deep and selling them cheap. So we've seen some weird collaborations. This one seems real bizarre to me. And before everybody gets all on Guy Fieri, I will tell you, his personality can be enormously polarizing. But I will tell you privately, everything I've ever read about him, he is one of the nicest family men. He donates so much time and money and food to a lot of charities. He's a good human being. Yeah, his on-screen characterization's a little much at times, But I don't think this Flavortown NFL thing is working. So does that make sense to you just on the surface without any other information?
I guess you and I talked about, I think this was a Super Bowl ad, right? That's where the Flavortown concept started.
Yep.
And you were like, this is a really weird ad. And so the idea that there's a spin-off of it, it makes me think that a number of people thought that ad was amazing and that it really resonated, so that we want to take it so far as to create merch. And so I guess from it on its face right away, I go, they thought that was a good idea, huh?
Yeah.
Now, that being said, like when you first said it, I was like, wow, Guy Fieri knows how to sell himself.
He does. He's a great promoter.
Yeah.
He's a great promoter. I mean, he is self-described the mayor of Flavortown, and wherever that is. So basically what they did is picked each NFL city and paired it with what I assume the mayor of Flavortown felt was its most iconic game day food. So we're going to play a quiz, Kirby. That's right. Pop quiz, Kirby. It's a pop quiz for Kirby.
I'm just
going to name the NFL. You will. I'm going to name the NFL city, and you're going to give me the food that the mayor of Flavortown has decreed as the food for the game. Are you ready?
Okay. Everything's going to be hot wings or burgers. Yeah, but okay.
But let's start off with Buffalo.
Okay. It's got to be hot wings. Okay.
Very good. Buffalo wings. Nashville.
I don't know. Nachos come to mind. I don't know if that's right.
Nope. Hot chicken. Hot chicken.
Okay.
So thinking of food that's identified with the city. Okay.
Which again, you'd be great at this, but I'm not going to be great at this. I mean, Philadelphia. I think of the Philadelphia cheesesteak.
Yes, he did it. He got it. He found it. Yes,
it was in there somewhere.
All right. Now we're going to get to the harder parts.
Oh,
now.
Great.
This is not getting more difficult. Atlanta.
They're all going to be burgers now. It's going to be burgers.
Atlanta is soul food, which to me is very generic. Very generic.
Okay.
To me, that would be chicken and waffles makes a little more sense. But okay, Minnesota
sausage comes to mind.
Should have gone with burger. It would be the Juicy Lucy. Kirby. Kansas City.
Kansas City barbecue.
Ribs. Specifically ribs. Okay.
I feel like I get partial credit for that one.
You get partial credit. Miami.
Something like Cuban or
the Cuban sandwich. Look at you. You're killing it. Okay. Now we're getting to the hard ones. Green Bay, Wisconsin.
It's got to be something cheese related, doesn't it?
You're not doing bad. Brats and curds.
Okay.
Cleveland.
I guess you go dog.
Kind of. It's something called the Polish boy, which I'm not sure exactly what that is, but from the picture that we're going to use on the cover of the podcast this week, it looks like some sort of tubed steak or wiener topped with Frenched fries. It's very strange. Okay. Pittsburgh, Kirby. Pittsburgh.
Oh gosh, I would have to go with what do you eat in jail? Because they're criminals.
Pierogi, apparently. Apparently a pierogi. Very nice shot at Cleveland there. Or I'm sorry, Pittsburgh. Denver.
See, if we're just going through the litany of teams that have beaten.
I've only got about 3 or 4 more.
Cleveland in a just brutal way. So Denver, Mile High.
Nope.
Something. I don't know.
Rocky Mountain Oysters.
Okay.
Rocky Mountain Oysters. Okay, now here's where it gets weird. I'm just going to do quick 4. Dallas. I'm just going to tell you what they are. Dallas, Texas-style barbecue. That's so generic to me.
Okay.
Houston, T-bone steak. There's a lot of great food in Houston for an awful city. There's a lot of great food there, but T-bone steak does not come to mind when I think of Houston.
I'll take your word as my Texan here. Yeah.
New York Giants. Just take a guess. What would the Giants be? New York Giants.
New York Giants. New York pizza.
Very good. Yeah, New York pizza. How about New York Jets?
Pizza.
Also New York pizza. So that just short-circuited my brain. So yeah, it's kind of like I said, I'm all for merch collaborations. I know you are too. This one's a weird one. Like I said, seems like it's not going too well. All right, Kirby, do you have a quick topic for us before we go to our football picks?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes, really quick. So again, this is a music one and that's the reason I kind of wanted your take on it. So
all right.
If the 8-minute long masterpiece Stairway to Heaven debuted on Spotify today, it would probably be lost in a sea of techno mixes and Christmas covers and all this stuff. And that's because it pays now for songs to be short. Music
Yep.
streaming services pay artists by the number of plays, and a play only counts if a user listens for 30 seconds. And so they're starting to see that songs are, and then if it goes through the whole song, it actually the algorithm rewards it if you make it all the way through the song. And so then it
Okay.
shows it to more people. So again, playing the algorithm like we talk about with marketing. And
Sure.
so, according to music blogger Michael Toberg, the average length of hit songs has dropped by more than 30 seconds since 2000. Good, bad, or indifferent, says Bill.
Bad, and because I think what you're doing is you're stemming creativity. It's because that's how it's monetized. I mean, I think what you're really looking at losing are those long. Now, some of them are bad, but you're losing the long song intros, right?
Yeah.
I think if Stairway to Heaven, that probably goes a full minute, maybe minute and a half before there's ever any singing on top of it. Again, kids these days, a lot of people aren't going to make it through that. Hell, I have a problem making it through it, and I think it's a great song. Same thing with Kashmir or whatever, Led Zeppelin. So I think what you're doing is unfortunately stunting the creative process. You know, and I know everybody's trying to figure out how to monetize streaming so that artists get compensated the way we all hope they should. I don't have the answer at all, but I don't love the you got to listen 30 seconds because again, you're that's why everything feels very homogenized now. Now, for the people who say that all music sounds the same, go back to 1987. Everything was a hair metal song, right? Go back to 1993. Everything was very grungy. And then, you know, I always use the example on hair metal. You take a song like, which was very popular at the time, Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. You slow it down just a tick, put a little country twang on it. That's a #1 country hit today. It's a good song, right? And so these types of genres repeat themselves. But what I think we're going to see with this, so I think it's bad, is that it's not necessarily genre defining; it's song defining. It's changing the way people are creating their art, and so therefore, I don't love it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it's taken a step back to where we were. So it's funny because when it was playing on the radio, the radio DJs all wanted 2.5 minute, 3 minute songs and no more. And then all of a sudden people tried to break through that, and you couldn't get Stairway to Heaven, Bohemian Rhapsody, any of those songs to play. And so they built up a different way to break through. So I don't need to. Well, you were very eloquent, but I think it was interesting that it's going back.
Well, I think that's where you used to see what we used to call the radio edit, right? There would be these weird, like that you would have the album Stairway to Heaven or the album Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen, and then you'd have a almost 4-minute version of it that missed a verse here, contracted a solo there, took out a solo here, and it just sounded different. It changed the song completely. So this is not new. That monetization has changed the art. It's just a different manner. All right. Speaking of art, Kirby, we both had some good weeks last night in our picks for PPEF. We both went 4-2. So right now,
much better than week one.
Much better than week one. I am in the lead with 7 points. You have 6, 1 point per victory.
Yep.
And here we go. So got some good games on the slate this week, Kirby. Some really good ones. We've got Florida State ranked #4 at Clemson, which is unranked. Kirby, who do you got?
I'm taking Florida State all day. Clemson has not looked the same since, Lawrence left. So I'm taking Florida State, even though it's at Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson, historically a very difficult place to play. But I am absolutely going to take Florida State as well. All right, Kirby. Colorado, the prime time, Coach Prime, taking the number 19th ranked Colorados into the number 10th ranked Oregons.
I'll tell you what, this is a tough game for me to pick. I think my head says Oregon, my heart says Colorado. I'm gonna go. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go Colorado.
All right,
just for the story.
I was doing a little, I get the advantage because I picked the games, did a little research. Oregon historically a very, very, very difficult place to play for visiting teams. I am going to go with the Oregons here. I am going to go with the Oregon Ducks.
I think it's a good pick, Kirby.
I always love close ranked teams when they play. Ole Miss, the number 15th ranked Ole Miss Rebels, are going to travel into Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to play the Crimson Tide, ranked number 13. Who do you got, Kirby?
What's Ole Miss ranked again?
15th.
Boy, Alabama has not looked good, and I always love picking up on your theme. It's fun, but they've lost at home this year.
I was there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll go Alabama.
All right, Kirby, metaphorically flipping a coin, went with Alabama. I have been to a number of games at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and it is kind of the cathedral football in the SEC, to be honest with you. And it is historically a very difficult place for a road team to come in and take a victory. But Ole Miss is going to do it this week. I know that that team will disappoint me just like they always do, but not this week. They take Alabama. All right, Kirby, let's go to the pro ranks.
Yeah.
Boy, we got this is a must-win game for both. These are some must-win games. The Los Angeles Chargers 0-2 at the Minnesota Vikings, also 0-2. Something's got to give here. That was the theme last week, but something still has to give this week, Kirby.
Yeah, I picked the Chargers for 2 weeks in a row, and I decided when I saw these picks that you are going to challenge me to lose every week on the Chargers until I learn my lesson. This is not going to be the week that I learn my lesson. I believe in Herbert more than I do Cousins. I'm taking the Chargers.
Weird shot at people's family, but whatever. I will say that, and I like the Chargers. Best uniforms in pro football, if you ask me. Those powder blues are absolutely gorgeous. They are going into Minnesota, and I think we know how difficult a place that place is to play. I don't know if Herbert's going to do well. They don't have Austin Eckler. I take the Minnesota Vikings, and I, for one, like Cousins. I like family. All right, Kirby. The New England Patriots, speaking of teams that don't look very good, against another team that doesn't look very good in the New York Jets. This is in the Meadowlands, New England Patriots and the New York Jets. Kirby, who do you got?
Patriots. The Jets season left a long time ago. Well, I know they've got a good defense, but yeah, I believe in the Patriots on a little bit more on this one.
Yeah, and historically, New York is not a tough place to play. So I also will pick the Patriots on this one. All right, Monday Night Football. Love ourselves some Monday Night Football. Philadelphia Eagles at the surprising Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the resurrected career of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, good for Baker, but he has. I've seen this movie, man. Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles for sure.
Okay, yeah. So I've always kind of been a fan of Baker Mayfield. Much like I'm a fan of Deion Sanders, and people say, why are you a fan of that? He's a loudmouth. Well, I don't love loudmouths generally, but I love a loudmouth that can back it up, and primetime can back it up.
For days, yeah.
Baker Mayfield, I've always felt like he got the short end of the stick with some bad teams. He's kind of a loudmouth, kind of a hothead, but I like the fact that he backs it up. Plus, you add the fact they're playing in Tampa Bay, which I think we all know, one of the most difficult places to play in the NFL, if not the entirety of sport. Even so, I am picking the Jalen Hurts-led Philadelphia Eagles. All right, Kirby, we've got them locked in. But I'm telling you, if you want to lock in a wow moment, an aha moment, there's no better way to do that than to contact our friend Russ over at 7 Sourcing. That's right. They're experts in the field. They work with distributors just like you to help you source custom orders direct from fully vetted overseas factories. They work with each of you, every single one of you, on brand strategy, product development, product sourcing, order management, quality control, compliance, and logistics. They truly demystify direct custom sourcing, and they will absolutely would love the opportunity to work with you. So email them at sales@7sourcing.com. You're not going to be sorry you did. Kirby's got, I think, 14 projects in the hopper. And so, but they're going to make line for you. He's going to step out of the line to make way for you.
Yeah.
All right, Kirby, once again, from the bottom of my Billy heart, congratulations on the launch of your new book.
Thanks,
my
man.
hard copy is finally coming today. So
nice.
I'm excited about that and excited to see where it goes from here. So have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.